Hi everyone, I'm Prateek Singh. Now options. Options are part of the family of derivatives. Let's rewind a bit. In the stock market, you can either trade in equity, that means you could buy one share of Tata Motors, State Bank of India, or Reliance, or any of your favorite shares. Now there's also another segment apart from shares, which is called the derivative, and that houses options and futures. Options is part of the derivatives family. Now options and derivatives can be very confusing and complex things in today's world. In fact, when I started to learn options, it was actually quite confusing. You see, but it doesn't have to be that way. The word derivative comes from the word derive, meaning to get value or information from. In India, futures and options form the derivative market because they get their value from the underlying or from stocks and shares. So if you're looking at Reliance call options, the contract is getting its value from Reliance shares. If you're looking at State Bank of India call options, it's getting its value from State Bank of India shares. An option is basically the right to buy an asset in the future at a specified price within a time limit. Now, derivatives are not new. Believe it or not, they've been around since ancient times. This is the story in a place called Miltus. Thales used his knowledge of meteorology to observe that there may be a heavy crop of olives on the way of the coming summer. Olives at that time were put in machines called presses, and this basically extracted olive oil. Thales had a brainwave. Since he knew that there was going to be a bumper crop for olives, which meant there would be crazy demand for olive presses, he could use this to his advantage. Instead of buying all the presses and letting it go when the demand picked up, he did something ingenious. Thales paid a small amount of money and purchased the right, but not the obligation, to use all the presses in Miltus and Chios, which was the nearby place. Now remember, instead of paying the entire amount to buy the presses, he paid a small amount to purchase the right to use those machines when the summer came. He now had purchased the options to use the presses when the summer came. Remember, he put down a small amount of money to control a large stock of machines. When the summer came, olives had a bumper crop harvest, and the demand for presses increased almost overnight. Thales was now able to let out the machines at whatever price suited him. And as the story goes, he made a lot of money. So what did we learn from that little old story that happened a long time ago? Well, the first thing is that options give you the right to buy or sell an asset in the future. Number two, there is a time limit on the contract. And number three, there is a leverage portion involved. So you pay a small amount to control a large amount of assets. Also remember, the option buyer, the person who's buying the option contract, the amount he pays to acquire that contract is called the premium.